We gotta grip them in the first 3 seconds.
I think we already have.
We gotta grip them and rip them, baby.
I'll grip something.
Just like a bunch of trout, you know?
what?
You ever grip and rip some trout?
It's been years.
And on that note,
Just the
welcome
other day,
back.
actually.
You went fishing?
Yeah.
He was gripping and ripping.
Yep.
And on that note, welcome back to Five's the Crowd. Today is the promised last week's promised now this week Vomlet episode.
Yesterday is today.
Bring it in, Kamala. Bring it in. Yesterday.
Unburdened by what was yesterday. I don't remember.
I've tried to make sense of it. It doesn't make sense. It's not even words.
Some sort of linguistic art, and it's too abstract.
Oh my. Well, if you're new here, let me introduce the table. I'm surrounded by my 4 best friends, and now you're... Wait. Not 4. 3. Missing one of the 4.
Again.
Christopher.
Fish. We got Cam.
Hey,
We got Chris that's missing. We got Tony.
Hey.
We got Zach.
Hola.
And myself, Austin. And if you're new, again, this is what we call a vomlet.
If they're
It's a
new
vomit
again-
omelet of everything culminated into one.
It's word vomit with
Omelets.
What do they call those omelets? Where a garbage can omelet or something, where you can just throw everything in it.
I hate omelets.
Eggs, though.
You don't like omelets?
No, I
Eggs are
never
good.
have. Like, even when I could do eggs, like, I never
You
liked
do
omelets.
eggs?
Yep.
Gross.
Nice.
Some big. That would make some big chickens.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Is that the chicken that
He
Peter
had
fights?
to do
Is
eggs
that
to
your
get
son?
3 children.
So the question is, what came first?
Zach or the eggs?
Zach or Kara?
Probably Zach.
Probably me.
Oh my gosh.
He was
I'll
also
do-
born first, too.
No, he wasn't.
Who was it?
Huh?
What? I'm lost.
Bleh. The
All right.
omelet.
Okay, today we're going to try. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just not. No, we're gonna try it.
Segments?
We're gonna try segments, baby.
This is going to blow up in our face.
No, we.
I
Got
think,
No, we got
if
this
he
next
does
time.
it, if he just yells out the name of the segment, that'll be our switch.
Got it.
Gotta yell it though too. Get our attention.
We gotta bring it in hot.
about your family.
Okay.
I feel like we need like one of those like old school MTV like, and it like gives
Oh, and
the
it
segment like.
breaks down.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Transition screen.
Like, do you remember the MTV News
Yeah.
when it would do that and it was like, and it had
Oh,
the whole thing.
And it
then
always
they-
did like a. Oh, you talk about the cube that spun
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
And then they said something dumb.
Yep.
That wasn't real news at all.
No.
Yeah. One thing I told Cam this yesterday. Speaking, and this brings it up because you brought up MTV, and MTV, is it even relevant anymore? I mean, I know it kind of made like a resurgence because it's like
It's mostly like a
90s.
reality TV show channel.
I know,
kinda.
but is it even still relevant?
MTV?
I don't
Yeah.
think so
No.
at all.
Because I know kids
Is
wear
it on-
like retro stuff.
It's
No,
even
I think-
on MTV.
I think it might still be on like Hulu and things like that where it has like live TV. Like, you know how
Well-
Hulu and those streaming services still have some of your basic like Comedy Central,
Yeah, it's
TLC.
funny. My cable package, I actually have MTV and MTV2 on it. But the funny thing is, like, they do movies on them, like Sundays and stuff. Like, they'll just do movies all day
They've
long.
turned to that kind of programming.
Well,
Uh-huh.
Look-
They'll-
so it
they'll
looks
do
like-
movies.
Holy crap!
But it's funny, the movies, like you'll get like maybe a 2-hour movie, like Jack Reacher or some generic, just good 2-hour movie that whatever. Turns it into like a 3.5, 4-hour movie.
Oh, 'cause of all the ads?
of all the commercials that MTV puts on.
stupid.
Like I've tried watching MTV before, and literally you will watch like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden go on for a 10-minute preview or ads. And then get another 5-10 minutes of the show, and then go on for another 5 minutes of ads, and it's like, holy crap!
I feel like that's how they were even back when they did play music. Like they'd play maybe 2,
That's
maybe
exactly
3
how it
music
was.
videos, and then it was
half hour of ads.
Yeah,
It was terrible. I could never.
Apparently,
watch
their top shows currently are The Challenge, which is some sort of reality competition show. Jersey Shore, still. RuPaul's Drag Race and Teen Mom.
That sounds about right.
And apparently there's another show called The West Coast Hustle with Chanel West Coast from Fantasy Factory.
Oh,
Interesting.
her laugh
Is horrible.
Another show called Help, I'm in a Secret Relationship.
Holy dang.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they do play that catfish show. That one's very interesting.
Like
actually.
Do you remember like
Oh yeah, Catfish.
Yeah.
Do you remember like Room Raiders and Date My Mom and all those
man.
ones? Oh, they were actually kind of fun.
I was
yeah.
actually out dating your mom.
I
I'm just kidding. No.
No
there
wonder
there
she's
was the
crazy
one.
now.
There was one I used to watch on there. It's actually pretty funny. The parents would set their kid up on dates. And the dad would choose one person and the mom would choose one person.
I remember that.
And the mom would be like, "Oh, he's going to choose mine. You're just going to love this one." And the dad would be like, "Nah, I know my boy. I know what he's going to like." And then the son or daughter at the end of the dates would have to choose who he wants to be with.
What was the one where they?
DOG Tinder. Do you remember that one?
It was like they had. It was like.
They
oh my
literally
gosh.
have a parade of women like walk in front of the guy on the throne.
Oh,
and like, hey, and then he
yeah.
like put his necklace on one or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Eric
Yeah.
Matthews
the
was
one,
on that.
The one I'm
Yes.
thinking of is I just had all these flashes of these really cringy lines, and there was like a guy standing in front of a bus, and
Dismissed.
Is that what it? Yeah,
Yeah.
dismissed.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh, that stuff is so cringy.
All those dating shows, it was funny because I'd watch them when I was in like, I don't know, junior high, maybe high school. So I was like of dating age, but granted, everyone on the shows were like young 20s. So I
Yeah.
was still a few years younger, but I would just watch them going, man, if I was on this show, like, oh man, now I look back, I'm like, oh, those people probably look back at that. You know, actually, speaking of reality shows, we watched a couple episodes. It's too reality that I can't handle it. But Daniel Tosh is the host of one on Prime called The GOAT. And it's a competition reality show where they do these strange competitions and then they're slowly getting eliminated and they vote each other off, like the classic thing. But all the contestants are like 15 Minutes of Fame reality people.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I'm trying to... I can't remember. I don't watch reality shows, so I don't remember, or I don't know most of them. But there's a few that I'm like, okay, that's a familiar face and things. Like, there's a couple. One guy's from, like, Survivor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One of them's actually from that RuPaul Drag Race. But anyway, Daniel Tosh is the host, so that makes it worth it. But, yeah, it's...
Tosh is hilarious.
Oh,
man.
dude, he's the best.
Yeah. But what I was going to say, what MTV kind of bringing it back to when make me realize how old we are, is I was telling Cam last night, I'm like, I had this epiphany that none of our kids are going to know this, and this is what kind of separates us, but we knew a time when phone numbers were only 7 digits. Remember? You used to be able to pick up a phone and just dial 7 digits to get to someone else's phone.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
You never had to
put in
punch
the
in your
area
area code.
Yep.
How prehistoric
I
is that?
remember when that changed. That was like junior high.
Yeah,
It
dude.
changed, and you had to put
Soon
in
as
the
cell
area
phones
code.
came out.
Yep.
And it was so annoying because you're like, ugh, extra 3 numbers.
Yep.
So dumb.
At
Anyway.
the same time, though, we were texting with T9. It's like 40
Yeah, dude.
Oh
40
my
buttons to say
gosh.
on my way.
Yep. But we were so fast at it.
And you could do it in your pocket.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you had the numbers memorized.
dude, that was my best part. I remember I was a bagger at a grocery store, and they allowed no cell phones, but I'd have it in my apron, and I'd just sit there up front, and I
Zach's a
just
pervert over
Yeah.
there.
I just
Get
sit
your
up-
hands out of your
His
apron.
apron's
sit up in my apron, and I
His apron's doing this motion. And like,
But literally, I could though. It was a slider phone, and I could just sit there, and I would just act like I'm just paying attention, waiting to go
You know-
back someone's groceries, and I could just sit there and text, take a quick glance down, send it. That's all it took.
I could
Really?
text and
Yeah.
drive.
Yep.
Now you can't
Still
text
do.
and
I
drive.
mean, don't do that.
It's speech
Don't do
text
that.
now.
Yeah, now you got
speech
voice
text.
dictation, and then it
AI.
messes up and it jumbles your sentences. And
Talks about Blue Ribbon winning.
no,
pasta
that wasn't
dishes.
then. That wasn't then.
Uh,
But anyway, all right. So in the news, we're gonna do a quick in the news. The previous podcast touched on a big portion of it, so luckily we don't have much to burn through here. But I actually did. I wanted to know about your camping trip. Tony just went on a 10-day camping trip with his extended family.
yeah, we had a big group. Went up to Island Park, just outside of West Yellowstone. Jenny, so our two older kids, they've been every year with my in-laws the past couple years, but Jenny and I have held back, just having Kelsey and Reggie being young. And so this was our first time camping in a long time. So we went 2 years ago, but stayed in a cabin that was really nice. I'd barely call it camping. So like really, really camping. It's been, I would say, almost 4 years now. And we usually would go every year, so that's a long time for us. But we camped in tents, and we stayed in it was just kind of a first come, first serve campground. No running water, porta potties, anything. So we made our own porta potty, pooped in buckets, and slept in tents.
Did you still sit on the toilet for about 30 minutes?
Nah, man, that made me get out there real quick. There was one day when my first time using it, I had to learn how to balance on this dang thing, and it's a 5-gallon bucket, and I'm fat now, and so to try and like find the right area on the bucket to get everything in there, was tough. And so I almost like kinked him off trying to like sorry, too much, but so it was just a joke, and it's in the afternoon, and I'm in this little pop-up tent outhouse thing.
You're in a sauna.
So it's like a
sweating
sauna,
it,
dude. And
praying to Jesus.
and the funny thing is, so I'm sweating, so like toilet paper isn't doing its job, and there wasn't any like wet wipes in there, but we had like
Did you hawk to it?
Spit on that thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, but we had disinfectant wipes that I was like, you know what, close enough. I'm using one of these. My
no.
my bum hole started to tingle a little bit.
Yep.
But it got the job done. It wasn't that bad. It burned, but it was like a clean burn. Like
Okay.
it kind of like when you pour like rubbing alcohol on a wound or something.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Bleach?
so-
Have a bleaching
I haven't looked. Do you want to look?
I don't know the original color.
Take a look at the old
I mean, I
stink
could
eye.
take a look, but I don't know. I don't know. Is it normally that pink? I don't know.
But anyway, no, so I get done and I come out and Jenny asked me, she's like, is your nose running? And I'm like, no, it's sweat. I was just sweating, and she just is busting a gut. I'm like, I'm not using that thing for the rest of the trip. And then, of course, like 2 days before we're done, my stomach hits me hard. And
Shotgun blast.
so I have no choice but to use it. But by this time, it's like evening time. It's not as hot. And somehow I found the magic like position that everything works. So it wasn't actually as bad. But that first time I was like, this sucks. But no, like the kids used it just fine. They didn't care. And we would just put it in bags and then carry it off. And we like dug a hole out at the end of the campground that we would just put the bags in. And then every time we would drive into town, we would just throw them out and everything. But no, it was actually really fun. We went into Yellowstone a couple days. Reggie's like obsessed right now with like volcanoes and lava and different things. So we were like, we got to show him Old Faithful.
Oh, yeah.
And so took him in, showed him that. He was fascinated by it, thought it was so cool. Went on some fun hikes and things, rode 4-wheelers. It's a good time.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we went camping 3 days, and the whole time I was like, man, 10 days. I don't think I could do it. Because we were getting eaten alive by flies, but apparently you were too.
Oh, yeah, dude. The flies were outrageous.
And the whole time I was like, you know what it must be is Jenny's parents must have like an Airbnb, and they just are staying in the tents, but they're doing like dinner in the house. But no, you guys were roughing it.
We were roughing it. I mean, we had like
Way
the
to do it.
propane, like camping
Yeah,
grills,
camp
and
grill, stuff like
things
that.
like that.
Dude, I love camping food.
Oh,
It
it's
just
the
tastes
best.
Dude, we
so
made
much better.
Some
I don't
hobo
get it.
dinners.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
so good, dude.
Bro, we're about to do that next week. We're going for 5 days. I'm stoked.
Just take a fly net or something.
I'm gonna take my bug assault. Just shoot them.
But the problem is they're landing on you.
I'll shoot myself. It's just salt.
It's out in the open. I don't think the salt gun's gonna do it, man.
Dude,
We had
you'll
be
run out of
fun.
salt.
we had those
I know.
like sticky strips hanging from trees.
do nothing.
And yeah, they would load up. Like I mean, you at the end of the day, they were loaded with flies, but you couldn't tell just because of how much. So Jenny's cousins, they did the whole outhouse thing too, but instead of going into bags, they just dug a hole.
That's
and
what
went-
I'm thinking.
And they dug down like 2 feet, and then as they'd go a couple times, they'd throw some dirt on it, and then throw some dirt on it, and then as it got too full, they'd dig another hole. We walked by their outhouse one day. It sounded like some kind of generator because of all the flies in there.
No
It was just
way.
this like with the flies in it.
Oh
And so-
my gosh.
So we went out and bought those like electric tennis racket things to swat the flies. And one of the cousins, he was like, "Wait, let me see that thing." And he goes out to that outhouse and just waves it in there. Dude, it sounded like the 4th of July.
Like fireworks.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
Well, like, I wonder if you took up like just a bug zapper, just like a big old beefy bug zapper.
You talking like the blue light thing?
Yeah.
Are flies attracted to that?
if
I
you
thought it was
have a-
only
I
mosquitoes.
don't know. I
It's
think
any-
a lot of
any
bugs.
bug.
Any bugs are.
So that's the downfall, though. Well, I don't know, maybe because once the sun went down, it was great.
Yeah.
Because
the flies
there was
go away.
there was
Weird.
no mosquitoes. Like I got a few mosquito bites, but for like where we were, I was expecting a ton. Like we took up a ton of bug spray and stuff. Hardly any mosquitoes. So we just had to tough it out to dark. And then as the sun went down and the flies were done, it was wonderful.
Yeah. The minute that sun goes down, it's great.
But
Oh man, that makes me want to go camping again. At the end of it, we were like, "That well, we did our annual camping trip. We're good till next year." But I don't know. The girls did absolutely great. They played in the creek, they played in the mud and the sand, and they were catching bugs, and they were catching these giant beetles with like super long
oh, we got those.
antennas.
Yeah.
And Paige was grabbing them all like loads of them. And it turns out if they bite you, it stings worse than a bee sting. We had no
Oh.
clue, but she was just catching them. None of them bit her.
Dang.
Anyway,
Dang.
dodged a bullet on that one.
We were catching frogs. There
Oh,
was
that's
a
fun.
creek up by where we were. There was frogs and stuff.
Zach, any camping in your area?
Hell no.
You don't
Have
strike
you-
me as a camper.
No, I love camping.
Oh,
I would go camping in an instant. It's my wife and my damn kids.
actually, yeah, I could see that. I feel like Kara would be the type that, like, do you remember that episode of Man vs. Wild with Bear Grylls? Do you guys ever watch that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
ever seen an episode?
Yeah. The only one I saw was the one where he was right next to a freeway. Oh. Did you guys ever see that one?
Is that where he's on the lava?
No, he's
something?
like jumping across a crevasse or
Yeah,
something.
it's like a lava crevasse.
And then
crevasse.
someone in the post credit scene, or this is on YouTube. He's like, "Look, this is from that scene in that video of Man vs. Wild." And then he turns to the left, and there's literally a freeway.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's like you think he's out in this remote area. Anyway,
Well, I think I picture Kara as the episode of that where he takes Will Ferrell out.
Yeah.
And they have Twinkies as kind of a last resort. And they're not on the ground for more than 2 minutes, and Will Ferrell eats both Twinkies.
he gets pissed.
Yeah.
He gets so angry.
He didn't think it was funny at all.
It's
But I could
so
see Kara doing that 10 minutes in. We're going to die.
And I've even tried to talk her into like glamping, and she won't do it.
None at all.
Even
Why?
with electricity and running water. Like,
What's the reason?
She doesn't like it. She doesn't like the outdoors. Doesn't like being out there. Doesn't
Really?
like it.
Well, I can't get you to go camping either, so I don't know. I don't think it's just her
What are you talking about?
trying to get you to go to camping with me, and you won't go camping with me.
that's because you want it to be just you and him in the same
won't
tent. I
you
wouldn't
won't even
trust him.
respond to
know.
my text.
What are you talking about?
Our vacation coming up in like
I
a week and a half.
responded to you.
Oh, whatever. I'll show you. I'm just
Before I responded to you.
kidding. You were asleep.
I probably was.
I'm just kidding. We'll talk
what I'm saying.
after.
Okay.
I need to talk you guys into it. We need to go. Anyway, on darker news, but not.
Oh no.
I too have skin cancer.
What?
The hell
Mine
you
is very
do?
minimal. I really do,
I would-
but it's very minimal.
It's true.
Take your skin cancer over any day.
Yeah, no, we got it, and I honestly like it. It really upset a lot of the followers on our vlog. Well, not all, a lot of them, but.
I actually read some of the comments. They were ruthless.
Oh, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Ruthless.
Yeah, so
how?
Oh,
I got basal cell carcinoma.
Yeah.
Just on one of my shoulders.
What
It's
is that?
it is cancer, but it's like super slow.
Like easily
It's the
So,
lame-
yeah, easily
it's the lame
treatable.
kind of cancer.
Yeah, the lady I was on the phone with, she's like, if you got cancer, this is the cancer you'd want. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
I love this cancer.
Glass is half full.
Yeah. So anyway, I just, we and immediately in that moment, we were already cracking jokes. I mean, it's just it's in our nature. Just Jess
That's how
and
we
I,
deal with things.
and in her family in general, because they're all health, the medical professionals. They just have, they just joke about death. Like,
You have to stay sane.
you have to. And so that's just what we do. And so, we were, even if I was diagnosed with something severe, I think I would just crack a joke about it. I don't
Yeah.
think I would. But anyway, so we were immediately following when we had heard that it was the easier one. And we were cracking jokes, and that didn't sit too well with many. But it's just,
I've had, and here's my theory on that.
yeah.
Because I've had that too. Like I'm very much a make jokes. That's how I deal with
It's a
those
coping.
things.
Yeah.
Exactly. And people get mad, but at the same time, those same people are always like, "Well, people cope in different ways." Then let me cope.
Yeah. Let me cope.
Let me make jokes.
Well,
like,
and it's-
get off.
And I've been directly affected by cancer many times. Like my great grandma almost passed away from cancer. She luckily survived. My mom also has survived breast cancer. And so
Breath cancer is a
I
thing.
sound like Kamala
Brush your teeth
Harris.
more, Mom.
Maybe that's why I'm always out of breath.
But it's like I have been directly affected by these things, and I choose to make comedy because I'm trying to. I don't want
Lighten it.
people watching me being sad.
Getting stuck in the spiral of sadness and self-pity is not... Like, you don't want to have to deal with that on top of cancer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you, I mean, really, people that have terminal cancer, well, I can't say most, but like, I've had family pass away of cancer,
Yeah.
and it's like, when you talk to them, they are honestly the most uplifted person.
yeah. There's
Like,
an
hopeful.
acceptance.
Hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
It's like you don't want to spend your last days being depressed about everyone else around you is the one being depressed.
Yep.
Like, in fact, actually, the perfect example, did you ever see that video of the two guys and they're at like a soccer game and it like shows them game after game, and the one friend is just always kind of like, he's just watching it, and you can tell he's just gloom, and the other
yeah.
friend's on his feet and he's like cheering him on, and they're like, yeah, and I forget what the caption says, but it's like and it was like, you just never know, or something like that. And then the end of it ends up being that the friend that's up on his feet cheering and everything is the one that was dying.
Oh.
And then it shows the gloomed friend sitting there by himself, and it's like, you have to be
Yeah.
like, I don't.
I mean, I have theories about that, especially with Shaylee's dad passing away, like from the cancer that he had and stuff. Like when he was diagnosed with cancer, he did the opposite. He went straight into this like self-pity. He's like, I should have been a better father. I should have done this. I should have done this. I'm sorry. And almost every time we would be around him, he would rehash his regrets and like cry about it. And to the point of where the whole family was like, dude, like, we've forgiven you. Let it go. Like, you're the only one holding on to this. And I firmly believe that's why he passed away, is because he gave up mentally and his body just tanked.
Yeah.
Like, he was doing better. And he just, in his mind, gave up and just...
Really?
Like, I think there's so much power in the human brain.
So I can see that. So I have one of my old bosses, kind of an older lady, but she was diagnosed with, I'm like 99% sure it was pancreatic cancer, but it sounds almost like impossible because they say pancreatic, takes you out fast, right? Well, I swear that was the one she was diagnosed with. It kind of forced her to retire and different things like that. She was literally only given like months to live, definitely less than a year. It has since now been 3 years last month.
Wow.
She's still going. But what she's doing with her time is charity work. She's out there like helping, like around Christmas time. She's buying gifts and dinners for families in need. She's doing all kinds of stuff. And she's still a close, I'll say, advocate of the company I work for. And so they like help her out and do these charitable things. And it's like she's occupying herself by being as selfless as possible.
Oh, that's amazing.
She's racking up that credit card debt going, joke's on you.
Yeah.
I thought
baby.
she's racking up that God credit card.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Getting them brownie points before she gets up there.
In a way, though, isn't that beautiful? Because knowing that she has, it's almost like it has put a visual in her brain of a clock counting down that she can see. Mm-hmm. And she's like, how do I want to spend my last moments alive?
Well,
And like being the happiest that I can be is charity work.
exactly.
Like
right?
if we could all imagine, like, it's kind of like that. If you could see your timer, like, what would you do?
Oh, yeah, dude.
It comes down to that Tim McGraw song,
Which one?
Live Like You Were Dying.
Oh,
Oh, have you ever listened to it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
On a bull, man.
sounds tacky, but I mean, it's literally,
It's true.
you know, asked him, he got the death sentence, asked him, he's like, what did you do? And he's like, I went out and did stuff. I went out, I went fishing, I went climbing, I went parachuting.
I went Rocky Mountain climbing.
Yeah.
Rode a bull named Fu Manchu.
Country.
I know that song.
Yeah.
And
But-
later country songs. I'm actually getting into it a little bit.
I know. I'm proud of you.
That's because it's turning more into pop.
It's true.
It's been
Yeah.
that way for a while.
Back on Austin's thing, though, this is why, like, when I watched the video and everything,
Yeah.
this is why I've begged you guys to, like, go get checked.
Yeah.
Because yours, yeah, as little and, like, minuscule as it was, left unchecked turns into a huge thing.
Yeah.
And who knows where it could have gone from there.
Yeah. Huge
you,
mess.
You caught it at an early stage. You get rid of it. Now you go in yearly for checkups and stuff. That's how I am. I'm every 3 or 4 months now. I go in and get checked, and it's to the point like where my doctor now, she sees something. Like I was just in there a couple weeks ago. She saw something on my back, and she goes, "I'm not playing around." Took
Yeah,
it right off.
no-
and
no
take
point.
it out. Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
learned?
Did she
though-
warn you? Like,
You know what I learned though? That's interesting is that as you get older, your moles disappear.
I don't know if I've ever
Really?
had moles.
Yeah. I'm moly. And so when I
Mole,
I am like a walking mole.
Holy
But
moly.
when I went into my dermatologist, I was like, "Yeah, man, I feel like I'm just getting more." And he's like, "Actually, you're probably getting less." He's like, "Cause
Where do they
as
go?
as you get older, they just turn back to
You
normal."
just fall off.
Yeah, dude.
Just like float around in your
Shed
sheets.
your moles.
mole on the floor.
That
Probably the
reminds me
same
of the
thing
old
as
school
warts.
cartoons where they have the black dot that they can throw up anywhere and then
Oh,
like reach
yeah.
through.
Oh yeah.
You just have these moles that it's like, what is that? Oh my gosh, I can reach through.
It's the same thing as warts.
Yeah.
Warts disappear after like 7-8 years.
I actually did.
Left
I used to
unchecked.
have a big one on my cheek and it just kind of suddenly fell off one day.
It just kind of disappears. It takes a minute, but yeah, it just kind of disappears. It fell in his spaghetti when he was eating
gross.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that meatball
Moles are
was
so
extra
weird
chewy.
looking.
Dude, they're gross. I remember Jess had a big old nasty one on her neck. And we went into the dermatologist. This was many years ago. And I'm like, "Can you take that off?" She's like,
Please take it.
She's like, "But I'm attached to it." I'm like, "I know you are, and I want it gone."
It's attached to you, honey.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have one on the palm of my hand, like a huge nasty one.
Yeah.
It got to the point where like it started showing like weird signs. Like it was on there for like 5-6 years.
Start growing hair.
And no,
Oh.
like it started almost like the skin around it was getting really white.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, it's at that time where I bet I can just pull it. I literally did. I dug and I just ripped that thing off. Started bleeding, like gushing blood. It grew back. And I ripped it off again, and someone was like, "You need to pull the seeds out of it." And I was like, "Oh." So I looked at it, I cleaned it out, looked at it. Oh yeah, there was like little seeds. I grabbed it. That thing never.
Seeds?
Yeah,
No
that
freaking
thing
way.
never grew back after that.
Really?
Yep.
Seeds?
Yeah, it's like little seeds, roots type things. Yeah.
Gross.
If you don't get those, that's why when you get them taken out, like they'll freeze them.
Yeah.
It kills those root
Oh.
seeds on the
I
inside.
had like some weird stuff right here that I had him freeze and burn.
yeah.
It was like my skin was doing something weird. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's just whatever it was.
Yeah.
I had something like that when I was like in middle school. Like I had these bumps on my face, and they like
They freeze them.
I don't remember if they froze them because they turned into like giant blisters before they disappeared.
They froze them.
Okay,
Yeah.
they were nasty.
They more than likely
I
froze them.
forgot about that till now. That sucked. They
Yeah.
were gross.
That's what she's done to a couple of mine bowls. Like she'll just be like, like I had one on my nose, and she's like, I don't like this, and she froze it. And I was like, ow. And she's like, yeah, it hurts a little bit, and then it blisters up, and then it literally just kind of falls off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of going to a
Humans are gross.
dermatologist.
That all to say,
That's
all of you listening, go get your body checked.
it
Top to bottom. Get all your moles checked.
doesn't hurt to at least go once and see
Right.
what a dermatologist says.
Yeah.
I keep telling
And-
Jenny to go because she, in the middle of her back,
Yeah.
like, between her shoulder blades, she's got this weird dark spot.
Yeah,
And she's like, it's fine. It doesn't hurt. It's not getting any bigger. It's fine. I'm like,
How
it's
can you
funny
see it?
because
It's
she
on your back.
actually she mentioned that to Kara.
yeah.
And Kara said the same thing. She's like, you need to go get it checked. And she said the same thing to Kara. She goes, no, it's fine. It doesn't hurt. And
Well, they
Look
never
at it.
hurt.
well, that's the funny thing because she looked at Jenny and she goes, hey, do you remember Zach's thing on the side of his face? It didn't even hurt. It didn't even look like a mole. It just was something weird. And he went and got checked out and found out it was freaking cancer.
Yeah.
And Kara got a little upset with her. She's like, just go get it checked. And Jenny's like, I'm fine.
Yeah, it drives me nuts because I'm like, whether it is or not, it's like, why is your skin discolored then?
Yeah.
like it's still
There's a
something.
reason.
Here's the thing, though.
What is it?
Get the validation. Go get it checked. And if the doctor says, oh, yeah, it's nothing, now you know.
Now you
Yeah.
have peace of mind.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of, speaking of peace of mind, Lucas is supposed to have one more MRI. They initially came back and were saying, yeah, he got cleared from his ophthalmologist and his neurologist. And then his, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, one of his doctors came back and was like, yeah, I want one more MRI. We're like, crap. So at first I was like, oh, they just want to line their pockets, you know? They just need to pay for that Porsche that they got. And luckily Jess has been part of a community, and in that community she asked and kind of phrased everything like, hey, you know, he's been cleared here, he's been cleared there. Turns out that people in that community, that their kids have had face syndrome, their kids, one person's kid went blind in an eye at the age of 7.
Oh,
Is it really called face syndrome?
Yeah, PHACE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it stands for, it's like an acronym. It stands
Okay.
for 5 big letters. And it,
First of all, it's 5 letters. Okay.
five big words.
anyway, hashtag Kamala.
Oh, dear Lord.
Anyway. So, but it stands for like the 5 systems that it affects. And so, yeah, we were saying, we just think it's another money grab because MRIs are like 10 grand,
Yeah, they're not
11,
cheap.
13 grand. You know, you just never know. And turns out one of the ladies was saying that their kid, they wish they'd have gotten another MRI to kind of see if they need to stay on the medicine longer because at the age of 7, their kid went blind in his eye because they didn't take care of it at a younger age or like stay on top of it. So, and just seeing like some of the effects that their kids went through, we were like, okay, yeah, we're definitely going in for another MRI. So
It's just a peace of mind. It's the
yeah,
same thing. Like
that's just it. Is even if
I-
it comes back clear, now we have the peace of mind that
My-
goes with it.
my doctor, he has me, so every 6 months I have to get a CAT scan done, and once a year I have to get an MRI done. And I get to do this for the next 5 years, annually, like on the dot. And then he said after that, he goes, it might be, a CAT scan once a year and an MRI every other year for up to 10 years. He goes, and he literally told me the same thing though. He goes, it's just to be safe.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry. He goes, you're going to be scanned probably for the rest of your life. And he goes, but it's just to be safe.
Yeah. And
Well, that's fair
it
enough.
always makes me laugh when I hear that word because I think of Tim Allen and Santa Claus. He's like, and in the morning, I'm getting a CAT scan.
You know what's funny? For the
Flying
longest
off.
time growing up, I always thought he said casket.
Oh, really?
And in the morning, I'm getting a casket. And then he wakes up in the morning, there's no casket. And I was like, wait a minute, he's Santa Claus. He didn't even give himself a casket.
Right.
Not till my older years, I heard CAT scan. I was like, that's more hilarious.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. I love when you revisit movies from your childhood, and all of a sudden, all these new jokes come to light. And you're like,
yeah.
holy crap, this is hilarious.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
You know, I just rewatched one, and it wasn't so much the jokes, but just the appreciation. I just rewatched Angels in the Outfield.
I love that
Dude,
movie.
it is so
Love
good.
that movie.
It
Need
is
to
so
watch it.
good.
I haven't seen that since I was little.
Yeah, I came across it on Disney Plus. I was like, oh, this is great.
And the actors in it, like no
know.
names at the time that
Right?
are now bigger actors.
you have like Matthew McConaughey.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
The really blue-eyed actor. He always plays bad guys in movies.
Bradley Cooper?
No,
No.
it's the guy who plays bad guys on purpose so he doesn't have to kiss a woman because he's made a
Oh.
promise
He's
to
got
his
the
wife.
blonde, curly hair, bright
He
blue
was
eyes.
in Walking Tall with The Rock.
Yeah,
Played the bad guy, the
the
friend,
casino
the
owner
casino
and-
guy.
Oh my gosh, why
He
can
was
I
in
not think of
Suits.
him?
He was the other lawyer that worked for.
Yeah, he legit
But-
came out in an interview and they asked, why do you always play the bad guy? And he said, because the bad guy never gets the girl. And he's made a promise to his wife. Like he
Oh, wow.
loves,
That's
like he doesn't
amazing.
want to be
Cool.
with another girl. And so
I love that.
he plays the bad guy on purpose because the bad guy never gets the girl.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah. But yeah, it had some, like when I watched it on one of my flights and I was like Matthew McConaughey, I was like, holy
Yeah.
crap, I forgot he was in this. And you know, even seeing Tony Danza, you don't see him
Yeah,
anymore.
Tony Danza.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Tiny Dancer.
Nope, it's Tony Danza.
I know it is.
That's what I always thought it was. And I always thought it was that because I knew Elton John was gay and I always thought he had a crush on Tony Danza.
I did. I thought the same thing.
Oh, Neil McDonough.
you know what,
McDonough? I know who you're talking about now.
Back when emo was like huge and screamo and all those crazy bands, there was actually a band that I went to go see. Their band name was Tony Danza and the Tap Dance Extravaganza.
I've heard. of
What?
Yeah, I loved it. It was
That's
so
awesome.
fun. So 2 podcasts ago, we failed you guys again.
Uh-oh.
Because in the very beginning of one of the podcasts, Tony and I had the exact same Reddit question queued up, and I said we would answer it later in that episode, and we didn't.
Never
now
happened.
We're gonna answer it. Do you remember what it was? It was like if you had to get in order to win $1 billion, you had to be better than 1,000 people at something.
I don't think
What?
it was 1,000, but yes.
Was it? Do you still have
I think
it?
I might still have it. Hang on.
I wrote it off from the.
Wasn't it like you're in a room with 100 people and you have to be better at something than all of them? What would it be?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like,
So-
what do you think you would
Right
be
here.
better at than all those people?
So it says you get paired with 100 random humans. If you're better than all of them at something, you get $1 billion. What are you choosing?
Oh, by the way, this is our Reddit segment. Look at us. Second segment.
Oh, segments.
Okay. Fired up. So what was it again? Sorry.
Okay. So you get paired with 100 random humans. If you're better than all of them at something, you get $1 billion. What are you choosing?
Disappointing my parents.
Got that one.
What?
Shoot, 100 people to secure $1 billion. What are some of the top comments? Let's get the fuel
The
going.
idea.
Yeah, the idea rolling.
Guess what brake pad belongs to a car? So many years working at a car repair shop have benefits.
Oh, okay. So he could identify the brake calipers. That's nice.
Procrastination.
Identifying models of iPhone.
Yeah, dude. You definitely could. Oh my
I just got-
gosh.
What model is this?
Show me the camera. 14 Pro Max?
Holy
Wow. Wow, good job.
I told you.
Holy cow.
Oh, good times.
This is hilarious. It says procrastination. I'm a grandmaster. I got a birthmark when I was 9.
That's awesome.
That's a good
Yes. For me, it would probably be, 100 people. That's just so.
And it says 100 randoms. So it's like you don't know what you're going to get in that group.
Having the last word.
You are really
You
good.
wow.
I would.
You know who
I
I
would
th-
argue with every single one of them until I was the only one.
You know who I think could beat you? And I only say this
Your mom?
with text. With text. And I love her to death because of this, is Lisa.
Oh yeah, Lisa could beat you.
Being the last one to text. 100%.
Being the last one to text.
Lisa would win that one for sure.
Like you could end it in a way that there's no possible response and she'll send like an emoji back or something.
And then have you ever sent one back?
No.
I have.
Does she send back?
She sends another one. She has to have the last response.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that's noticed that.
Gosh, I think for me it would probably be
Probably BBB.
home assistant automation.
That makes sense.
I've gotten pretty good at that stuff. I've gotten surprising.
There's a lot of
good at it.
crazy nerds out there, though. that
There
know
is,
some
but I just have to
wild
bank
stuff.
on being like
not them not being there.
yeah, because that's the only thing I got going for me. Maybe I could do the most 100 people. I might be able to do the most push-ups out of 100 people. I might.
You really think so?
I think so. I can do a surprising amount of push-ups.
I mean, I don't doubt you. I just
How many?
I haven't worked out in 2 months, and just the other day I did 50 within under a minute. I just went for as many as I could in a minute.
Under a minute.
was there a I want to Oh, it doesn't give a
Impressive.
time frame. Cuz like thinking of something like that, it's
Yeah.
like how many push-ups like in 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
But
I've never pushed for like all in a day. I would hate myself, but I think that would at least give me a fighting chance. I don't know. All the teenagers now are so roided up, though.
Be more. Be more.
If I got paired up
obscure.
with a teenager, I'd be screwed. You
I don't
guys,
know.
your
Most
guys,
likely,
both
most
of yours
likely
would
they're
be,
vaping, so you don't have to worry about it.
right. Yours would be something about The Rock, or wrestlers, like knowledge of wrestlers,
I feel like I could apply a movie to any conversation.
quotes, art, actors. I don't know.
Just I don't know. I feel like anything we talk about, I could just say like, "Oh, that reminds me of this part in this movie."
Yeah.
But I don't
Dude,
know
I
if
have a-
that's
One of my managers can name any song and album of any artist in the 80s. It's stupid crazy.
wow.
Like you literally say a song and he'll be like, "That song was on this album that came out this year."
Oh.
And you're like, you look it up and you're like, "What the freak is wrong
It's like
with
that
you?"
scene in see there I go. It's like that scene in Doctor Strange when he's operating.
That's it. That's yours. Movie references.
Yeah, movie references. You can tie anything. So, a similar thing, my backdoor neighbor growing up was like a savant, knowing every NBA player's like stats to the T of every year.
So wild.
I had basketball cards, and I literally went over there one day, and I just would like pull a random one out, and I'd have the binder like up so he couldn't see. And I'd just pull a player's card out and look at the stats, and I'd read him the stat lines of a year, and he'd be like, and he'd name some obscure player that I had no idea who they were, and he was right every time.
The freak, man.
It was crazy.
So here's one thinking outside the box. It says, not bragging or anything, but I spent years training to spit toothpaste directly into the sinkhole with no splashback or paste getting on the rest of the sink bowl. Bullseye every time.
Nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who's got?
Like there's like I'm not thinking deep enough. I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
saying. You gotta be super obscure.
Super obscure.
Something weird.
I was gonna say, thinking just on tip of my mind. The easiest thing probably that I bet I could get really good at, or not good at, get the money for, is my physical media collection.
Oh, yeah, your
Having a
DVD
larger-
collection.
Yeah, my Blu-ray collection, DVD
A larger
collection.
library.
Yeah,
Not counting your digital downloads,
yeah,
just
not
your.
just physical media.
Yeah, you do have a lot.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I've seen it all.
I think last time I counted it was somewhere over 3,000.
3,000? Are you kidding me?
It's over 3,000.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah.
What's 3,000 times 20? What's the
Yoicks.
average here? How much money we spending?
Nah.
Is that $60,000?
I would dare say my average movie spent is roughly about $12.
I was gonna
Not
say
bad.
10.
Yeah, I would put it closer to 10, but 12 with the
$30,000, my guy.
about 36,000.
Plus tax. Yeah, see, I saved 36,000.
Well, and the
Yo ho ho, a virus life for me.
the silly thing with this guy is he'll have the DVD but see a killer deal on the Blu-ray, so he'll buy the same movie.
Yep.
What? Why?
Higher quality.
Man.
The other thing too is there's a couple movies that I've rebought. Like I've already had it on Blu-ray, and I went and rebought a collector's edition of it.
Oh my gosh. You have a problem.
The biggest one that I've actually spent the most money on, movie-wise, you're gonna laugh at this one, is Armageddon.
No way.
Yes, I bought that on DVD,
Uh-huh.
and then I bought it digitally, and then it came out to Blu-ray, and I bought it on Blu-ray. So, and then now I'm waiting for it to hit 4K, and as soon as it hits 4K, I'll buy it on 4K.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy, man. You better have like the most dope theater in your new house.
No,
No, you need to.
I
I'm telling
need to. I know.
You
this.
like, do you have an unfinished basement?
No, I have no basement. It's a crawl space.
What you need to
pull
do-
out a tractor.
Your upstairs loft area, you need to somehow make like built-in shelves, and literally your wallpaper is
Did
your
you have tall
movies.
ceilings?
Yeah.
Get one of those like net thingies.
Well, here's
You know what I'm talking about? That
Yeah,
mesh
yeah,
net
the-
they give you
the
the loft, and then you have
trampoline.
and then you have your built-in shelf, and you have a projector, and
well, that's the movie theater will come when the kids are gone.
Before you go, I got to show you the most dope home theater I've ever seen in my life.
Is it the Star Wars one?
No.
Oh.
that one's pretty cool.
It's like super fancy home automated.
Okay.
It's sick.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, when my kids are gone, in fact, I'm pretty sure it'll be the back bedroom, which is Rose's bedroom.
Uh-huh.
The ceiling on it is like a vaulted ceiling.
Yes.
So it's really cool. I could easily walk down a hallway, so I could kind of, do some posters on the side, and I could easily turn that into a nice little, just a fun little theater room.
That's awesome.
So
I love it. So obscure references,
I think so.
media collection, having the last word,
There were better ones.
the Apple one.
Identifying Apple phones.
Okay, maybe they're not on par.
There might be, I don't know, there might be some Apple aficionados in that group.
They got nothing.
What else you got, Cam?
Oh, this one's kind of. I mean, he says touching the highest possible point on a wall without jumping. I'm 6'8", so pretty good odds I'm gonna come out on top.
Oh, nice.
I could probably out-eat anybody by eating only ramen noodles for every meal. I bet I could go longer than anyone else.
You love ramen.
Freaking love ramen noodles,
I
dude.
bet I could beat you at that.
I don't think so.
Hey, you know what? Coming
I
in
don't
hot.
know. Maybe.
Coming in hot.
Dude,
We're
I
going
love
to do
it.
an every flavor top ramen video.
Yes. Please.
Do you
That
only
sounds-
do you only do the Maruchan,
Oh yeah, Maruchan's the best.
or do you do all the fancies?
No.
Well, Maruchan's got a ton of flavors.
Yes.
Okay.
The other ones suck. Their seasonings are just way off. Like Top Ramen, no.
Okay.
Tiger Shell,
You know
whatever
what?
the freak Walmart has now,
I've actually noticed that.
it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, like the chicken one.
Yes.
Like you really, there is not like the Nissan one, or we got the merchant one, and I had one of those the other day, and I was like, I can actually taste like the chicken flavoring.
Good.
Yeah. But we had the other. What was the other brand you said?
Top ramen,
Top Ramen. We had those for a while, and because it was on.
because you get it from Costco, you get like 80 of them
Yeah.
for like $5.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
it's like
stupid.
the noodles are just bland, and the flavoring doesn't stick, and yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do
Maruchan.
that. I gotta get a whole bunch of boiling water. Yeah. How long do they take?
I mean, if you think about it, you only need
That's a
one.
minute and a
You only
half.
need one giant thing of boiling water, and then you could separate them into bowls, put the seasonings in them.
Just
How many flavors
Just
are there?
ladle the water.
Yeah,
into
probably
each
like
one.
15 or something like that.
I don't think there's that much.
I mean,
is
I
there?
swear there's
You got shrimp,
10
beef,
to 15.
chicken,
Pork,
Oriental.
creamy chicken, spicy chicken.
Shrimp
soy
salad,
sauce.
shrimp soup.
Probably about 10.
Shrimp gumbo. I know where you're going with that.
See, another movie reference. I think if I really truly pointed that out in like every time we got together, it'd probably drive you nuts.
I guess maybe there's
You know what?
I drive myself nuts with it.
13 of them.
You know, what? I went back and I watched that movie.
Forrest Gump?
Yes.
And?
I've gone back a few times, and I've actually watched it a couple
Jenny's
of
a
times.
jerk.
Since your podcast about the most evil person, I am more siding with you on that one.
Dude,
She's
she's
a bitch.
She's an a-hole, man.
She is the devil.
Dude, it's true. She doesn't show back up in his life
No.
until he's rich and she has AIDS.
Yep.
And says, hey, here's my son,
Yep.
That's
a.k.a.
so
your
good.
son.
Did you not?
I
expect
was
that?
I was almost expecting you to go the other way or come at him. I don't know why, but yeah, you agreeing was hilarious.
Dude, I love Forrest Gump.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. All right. Do you have any other Reddit ones you want to throw into this while we're in our Reddit segment?
I do, actually. Yes, I do.
Because we have more segments, so I'm just letting you know.
So this one, I guess if we're doing a Reddit segment here, this one kind of crosses into we're a segment of cringy things, but I found a story. Oh, shoot, hang on. Maybe come back to me.
No worries.
Cam, did you say there was 13 flavors?
Yep.
13?
Yep, 13. You got chicken, beef, pork, soy sauce, chili, shrimp, creamy chicken, roast beef, picante chicken, lime chili, less sodium chicken, less sodium beef. So if you take those two out, there's 11. But
Okay.
I forgot about the chili one. That one's actually pretty good.
Is it?
there,
A little spicy. A little
Okay.
spicy, but the picante one.
dude, the creamy is pretty good. Picante's good. The soy sauce is surprisingly good. Pork's really good.
Haven't had
Beef's
that one.
Have
Do
you
they
had
not-
them all?
I have not had the lime chili, the chili, picante, or the two less sodium ones, or the roast beef. Had all the other ones though.
The soy sauce one, did they change the name? Was that the Oriental?
I think it was.
Okay.
Oh, I love the Oriental one.
Yeah, I remember there used to be called Oriental, but I wonder if they changed it to soy sauce.
Did you find it?
Because it's not PC.
Yeah.
Okay. So I came across this. I found it cringy, and then after talking to mainly some women about it, it's actually not as cringy as I personally found it. The question is, and this isn't as vulgar as it may come off. The question is, will sucking on my wife's breast change after having a child together? Okay.
Okay.
Kind of a
Sexual.
innocent, sexual,
Yeah,
but
but
I feel like
curious.
an innocent question. Curious. One of the comments to that, it says, I've always played with my wife's breasts, but when we had our first kid and she was pumping, I ended up giving her breast rubs to help knead the breast milk glands. This helped with the pain and discomfort. However, one evening, my wife was really suffering from the chafing nipples and was dreading expressing or pumping. So I latched on and, well, I emptied her. Yep, I drank breast milk. I honestly don't know why I did it, and she was obviously uneasy at first, but I didn't like to see her suffer, and it's just food. Now it's an Now it's an ask she can make of me when she needs it. She finds it much less abusive to her breasts, and since she pumps, she can make the ask and not have to get out of bed. She makes so much milk with the pumps, she can skip some pumps and still have more than enough for the baby. Some people see this as kind of a kink, but I see it as purely a way to help my wife. I know some people might find it distasteful or weird, but it works for us.
Is this guy's name Homelander?
He's a liar. He's a freaking liar. He likes it.
Mama.
No,
I had to do Chris for him. He's not here to do it. I had to do it for him.
So yeah, I read that and I was like,
I feel like there's other ways that you can help your wife other than latching on and drinking her breast milk.
I've heard.
Just milk her.
I've got nickels.
So-
Can you milk me?
There were times when what do they call that? Where there's a block,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a clogged duct.
clogged duct.
That's a weird.
There was
word.
one
Clogged duct.
time I tried to help alleviate because she was in a lot of pain. That was the only time.
See, my fear is that the clog would come out,
I know.
and then I would
That
just
was a
be
bullet I was.
disgusted forever.
That's the bullet I was willing to take.
Yeah. You got the freaking bucket spinning in the corner.
The patoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to help.
Nah, I don't get me wrong. I tasted breast milk when Jenny was breastfeeding. It was
It's actually
fine,
really sweet.
but
Almost sugary.
I never did from the tap.
Kara never was able to breastfeed, so
I'm sorry
why?
for you.
Why? I would never have tried it.
You're missing out.
You would have.
No, I wouldn't
You
have.
would have.
No,
Everyone's a little curious.
Yeah.
no, I am not.
You've done it before?
No,
You did it to your mom.
no. No, I'm not saying that because it's gross. I'm saying like literally no.
Wait, you weren't breastfed?
No.
It explains so much.
Don't be one of those.
Wow. Wow. No, yeah. I think it was me and my older
Call
brother.
the joke, people. Chill.
I can't remember if it was my two oldest or the three brothers. If they all three of them were breastfed or the two oldest ones were. But apparently, like I was talking to my dad about it, which is a weird conversation to have.
Yes, it is.
Daddy, why didn't I
Yes,
suck
it
on
is.
mommy's nibbles?
Because we got in the conversation of breastfeeding over formula and all that stuff. And Kara, we had to formula feed all of our kids because she just couldn't breastfeed. It just was not in the works, unfortunately. And like I got talking to him about my dad.
Like,
and
did it?
he's-
So this might be too much, but did it just not come in?
Just not produced.
So it came in, but she couldn't get it to go. Like we did everything. Like we tried to.
It's
have
crazy how hard it is.
Yeah, we tried to have the pumps. Like the girls wouldn't really latch on.
I know one thing
the
you didn't
best.
try.
I would know.
What did you say?
I
So
said I know
you're
one
the
thing you
reason.
didn't try.
Yeah, you should have.
But
You could have been the solution.
we-
It's like when
Honestly-
you like siphon a hose. You know, like how you have to like suck on a hose
Yeah.
to get it going. That's what you needed
Well,
to do.
I mean, we honestly literally tried, and she went and saw a
Lactation
specialist and stuff like that. And it got to the point where even she was like, you know what? She goes, some women it's just not
It's
an
just not
option.
meant to be.
Yep.
That's wild.
So
Because and if you were to go on to the dark side of things, right? The flip side of that is, had she have been born in a not so modern time, right?
Yeah.
This was way back when your kid would just
yeah.
starve.
yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be bad. It's not good.
Well, I remember that with our first kid. Like you just think it's just gonna happen, and it doesn't.
Well, here's the
Well, see-
funny thing is with the economy now, I would look to my wife and said, "You're breastfeeding. You figure this shit out
I'd say,
right now."
in fact, you're what's going in our cereal from
'Cause-
now on. You see the price on 2%?
well, there was
It's
a
like
point
Katie's
where
14 now. You're still breastfeeding.
Yep.
That's not for the kids.
nope. Well, it's funny because there was a point where you couldn't even find the formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
had
even
to
when
stock up.
even when we were doing formula, we would go to Costco and buy their big Kirkland tub.
The bulk.
Even then, that would last us a week.
Yeah.
You know, when the kids were older and was doing more, it'd last a week, and it was still about $20.
Oh,
a
dude,
can.
that's nothing.
Like, no, that was nothing. That was why we did it, because everywhere else it was about $40-$50. And so we did the Costco because it was great money. It was cheap. I mean, but still. But nowadays, like, I guarantee you, I haven't even looked at the Costco one. I'm sure it's
Oh.
probably up to $40-$50.
Dude, you don't even want to
$60
know.
now.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Jess, after she stopped producing and wanted to keep feeding Lucas, the only stuff she would go is with this like super organic, super nutrient baby formula.
That was your first problem.
What?
Super organic,
Dude,
super.
but it's like top of the line stuff. It was like $25, $28
For a little
tub
can?
that was like this big.
Yeah,
that would
sounds
last
about
2
right.
days.
Oh,
If that.
Yeah, when you're putting 4 scoops
Yep.
into one
Oh
bottle.
my gosh, man! I
That's
was
how they
like,
always
we're
get you.
paying how much
See-
for that?
Yeah. You look at it and you're like, cool, that's got a bunch of servings. It's like, no, each serving's like 4 scoops. You're like,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yep.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
I think we only formula fed Brindley. The breastfeeding only worked for like so long, and then it just suddenly stopped. So we had to go to formula. But we were at a point in our lives then that we qualified for WIC, and so
Yeah.
so we would get formula
Oh,
through
that's
that.
the point I was going to make. Is you guys were saying it was so surprisingly hard, but for Jess, dude, all of our kids took
Just
immediately, like literally within seconds after birth. Every single one of them.
One of our kids did really well. I
Well-
want to say it was Kelsey, but I don't remember.
So with Layla, she had a hard time and wasn't like really growing at first. And we found out it's because she had a tongue and lip tie.
Yeah.
you were
yeah.
saying
And so when
that.
they lasered that stuff off, it lashed immediately. So
Yeah.
it makes me think like how many kids have gone through that or breastfeeding. It didn't ever work because they couldn't make the latch because of the
Right.
ties, and nobody knows. Like
Yeah.
we literally like what I can't remember what happened. So it was some random person was like check her and see if she has a tongue or lip tie, and so she happened to be at the dentist for Scarlett, and just asked, and they're like, yeah, total, oh yeah. And he's
That's
like,
crazy.
I got 20 minutes, I could do it right now. And we're like, okay,
Oh,
The dentist did it?
yeah,
Wow.
Just all you got to
like
do is make a little tiny
pediatric
cut.
dentist
How
because
about
it's the piece of skin that goes between your lip and the top of your teeth, and then the bottom of your tongue.
Right. Crazy.
And he literally saw it when he did it. He literally saw her tongue like tink, like snap up.
That's crazy.
And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, that's what we want to see.
Crazy.
all right, we ready for the next segment?
Sure.
Odd stories.
Odd stories.
Do you have your odd stories?
I don't have odd stories. I have cringy stuff.
Well, you said you had a funny one from camping. You said you
Oh,
had.
that's cringy.
Oh, it's okay. That's
okay.
an odd.
Okay.
Sure.
Is it
Cringy
odd?
is another word for odd.
Okay.
So let me, while you pull yours up, I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
So I came across this story. Get
Is it pretty
this.
odd?
It's very odd. Very odd indeed. I'm going to kind of butcher it because I don't have all the facts straight. But I got the premise. Okay. Back in the 1970s, this couple met at like a bar and they hit things off really, really well. And I don't know if this was their second date, but he asked her if he wanted to go on a date or if it was that evening or a different day. I'm not sure. But anyway, he asked her to go on a night walk with him through the mountains. And she, liking him, obliged. And keep in mind, this is the 1970s and just so happened to have happened in the Provo Canyon.
Oh, they ran into somebody.
Shh, don't spoil my story. Anyway, so while they were out and about, it was dark and they heard a rustling in the bushes. So they kind of were taken aback, kind of panicked a little bit, and they stepped on something squishy, which made them panic, and they bolted. They got out of there as fast as they could.
It was the liver.
Was it?
Liver alone.
Was it? And so anyway, that all to say, time went on. They ended up getting married. Things, 30 years down the line, maybe it was 40. I can't remember the exact timeline. but they were sitting down watching a Dateline interview with a serial killer. And the interviewer asked him, is there anything at any point that you ever got caught? And he says, back in the 1970s, I was burying a body out in the woods. And this couple had come along and had heard some rustling. They ended up stepping on the body, panicked, and ran. That was the only time I almost got caught.
Holy crap.
Turns out that killer was Ted Bundy.
Holy dang.
Yeah, dude.
He was right there.
Right there.
Ready to probably kill him if they saw him.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, I bet the couple could have taken him. Like, really, if you think about it.
Not if
Maybe.
he had knife in hand or
I
something
mean,
like
yeah,
that
if he
and
was
just
armed.
took the
But if
guy
he's
out
just
quick.
up there trying to bury the body, I mean, I guess he could use the shovel. But 2-on-1, I don't
Isn't
know.
that freaky?
Gosh, what? Oh, my gosh.
I just like it because it's a local story. I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. I got to share it.
Crazy.
That's creepy.
Gosh, that'd be nuts.
All right, what's your odd story,
Mine's
sir?
kind of long, so if someone else has something before I go.
No, go for it.
Okay.
Do you have one, Zach, for later?
I got one for another segment called the Dick of the Week.
Oh, me too.
Okay,
Great. Okay.
That's a segment coming up. They're not supposed to know.
Sorry. Don't yell it yet, Cam.
Shh, maybe they didn't hear it. All right. If you could taste human flesh in an
Yeah.
ethical way, would you?
No.
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 Never.
It's the kind of question you ask after watching Silence of the Lambs stoned.
No.
No matter how you respond, you never expect anyone to hold you to your answer. But in a recent Reddit post, user incredibly shiny shart shared
He
the
sharted.
shared the story of a motorcycle crash that put him face to face with the macabre hypothetical.
When a macabre. So like a dark hypothetical.
Yeah. So when a car hit his bike and sent him careening into a nearby forest, his foot was shattered to the point that he would never walk on it again. When the doctor asked if he wanted to amputate, his one question was, "Can I keep it?" The doctor said yes. On Sunday, July 10th, 2016, 3 weeks after the accident, Shiny, who prefers to remain anonymous, invited 10 of his most open-minded friends to a special brunch. They ate apple strudel, quiche, thank you, quiche puff pastries, fruit tarts, and chocolate cake. They drank gin lemonade punches and mimosas. And then the main course came out, fajita tacos made from Shiny's severed human limb. The United States doesn't have a federal law banning cannibalism. Idaho is the only state in which the simple act of eating human flesh can land you in prison. Laws against murder, buying and selling human meat, and corpse desecration make cannibalism difficult, but technically legal in the other 49 states. It's rare someone able to consent to being eaten meets someone interested in eating them, but even that scenario raises a ton of ethical questions. Let's see. I want to get to... Okay, so Shiny's is the rare case where cannibalism was not only legal, but ethical. He documented the entire process, but due to the graphic nature of the photos, we have omitted several from this post. You can go to the link and stuff, but I want to... There's like a part... Let's see. Okay, so we asked the 38-year-old why he decided to feed himself to his friends, what he tasted like, and how the experience changed him. The following interview has been edited and condensed for length. Okay, so the first question is, why did you do this? Originally, I wanted to have it taxidermied or freeze-dried. How cool would it be to have my freeze-dried or taxidermied foot standing around the house as a lamp or a doorstop or something?
Not at all. No. Not at all.
So dumb.
All of this came out of the idea. All of this came out of the idea that it's my foot. It's not going to be cremated or chucked into a landfill. It's part of me, and I want it back.
That sounds like something Zach would say.
So how did you convince the doctor to?
Not gonna deny you on that one.
I paid $400 for that surgery. I want it back.
Give me my foot back, damn it.
So how did you convince the doctor to give you your leg? Most hospitals have policies where they will release your body parts to you because of some religions where you have to be buried whole. So I just signed the paperwork. My mom, who was helping me get back on my feet, so to speak, drove me back to pick it up. She doesn't know I ate it though.
Oh my gosh.
I went inside the hospital. And the hospital gave me my foot in a red plastic bio waste bag. I brought it to the car and immediately put it in a cooler. It was pretty bizarre. How did you preserve it before the meal? I got back to my place and I froze it. I couldn't find a taxidermist who would take me seriously, and freeze drying was too expensive. It would have been $1,200 to freeze dry the thing. If I had the money, I would have done it. Eventually, I decided to cast it in plaster to use as a doorstop, then capture a 3D rendering so I can make little keychains.
This dude sounds weird.
Right?
Sounds like a freak.
If I had to picture what this guy looks like, he looks like almost every character from any Tim Burton film ever.
Whoa.
You know exactly what I'm talking
Whoa.
about. And he fits the profile.
Easy.
When we got back to my house, I took the foot out, and it was so gross, man. It was covered in blood and had iodine all over it. After I cleaned it off, I was pleasantly surprised by how well preserved it was. It's not like they preserved it in a formaldehyde or anything, but when you think about beef, which can be dry aged for months, I suppose it makes sense. I had 4 friends with me at the time, and it was all surreal. We picked it up, we were playing with it. It didn't seem like it was a foot. It just seemed like an object, not a piece of a person. There was no emotional connection. I could think, yep, that's my foot right there, but there wasn't some deep part of me that felt weirded out by it. In fact, that was the weirdest part, was that it wasn't weird. How did you prepare the foot to be eaten? Before we cast it, I quickly took a knife from the kitchen and cut a chunk off the top of my shin.
Yeah! I don't like this anymore.
This is the cringe.
This isn't fun anymore.
This is the cringe.
Oh.
The skin was already kind of off from the surgery, leaving a big chunk of muscle exposed.
Hey, just so you know, if it's not aware and you're squeamish, I will provide timestamps so you can skip this part. Jump ahead.
I just took the muscle, I put it in a plastic bag and put it in my freezer. You know the scene in National Lampoon's Family Vacation where Chevy Chase is just saying, "This is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy." That's how I felt. I thought, this is probably the peak weirdness of my life. I hope it doesn't get weirder than this. After we cast the leg, I took a bunch of pictures, put it in a box of flowers, and cremated it. How did you convince 10 friends to eat the foot with you? I invited 11 people. I said something like, remember how we always talked about how if we ever had a chance to ethically eat human meat, would you do it? Well, I'm calling you on that. We doing this or what? 10 said yes. I guess we're a weird group.
I don't want that group of friends.
Nope.
I don't want that group
Bunch
of
of freaks.
friends at all near me.
There were
Murdering people.
There were several different friend groups involved. I approached one group with the idea, and they were like, totally. Because how often are you going to get this chance?
Never, and
One-
you don't want to.
You're talking to a guy that doesn't even want to suck on his own wife's titties for breast milk.
One friend,
Struggle.
I'm struggling. I'm sorry. This is tough.
one friend said she'd ask her boyfriend, a chef, if he would do the cooking. Perfect. The final tally was the chef and his girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, one friend from college, two friends I'd had for a couple of years, two I'd known for 10 years, and one of their daughters who had also helped me cast the foot. It was a close group. How did the actual cooking of the foot go down? I told the chef my idea, and after thinking about it for a couple days, he said, okay, let's do this. I'm going to prepare it, and you guys just come over tomorrow. He marinated it overnight and sauteed it with onions, peppers, salt, pepper, and lime juice. Then he served it on corn tortillas with a tomatillo sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the most obvious but necessary question. How did it taste? People think it tastes like pork because in movies we hear it called long pig. I don't know.
I actually knew that people said it tastes like pork.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I actually did know that.
But that term originated in places like Papua New Guinea, where they eat wild boar. They're not eating our big, fat domestic pigs that have white meat. Boars don't have white meat. They just don't. I remember eating a heritage pig, and it was some of the reddest, most flavorful meat I'd ever had. It was almost like venison.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's more akin to that.
A kid.
Akin to that. This particular cut was super beefy. I had a very pronounced beefy flavor to it. The muscle I cut was tough and chewy. It tasted good, but the experience wasn't the best. One friend had to spit it into a napkin. What was the rest of the meal like? There was this queasy anticipation. We all looked at each other like, we doing this right? We're doing this.
Doesn't sound like the brightest group of
Oh
friends.
my gosh. What about you?
So gross. And then I'm not going to keep going.
Oh, now you stop.
They have pictures.
You want me to keep going?
No, I don't. Oh, kind of.
So it says there was very dark humor, which we all already have in spades. I think that's why this went so well. We were cracking jokes the whole time. I said at one point, well, today was the day I was inside 10 of my friends at once.
Gross.
I got on a phone call the next day from a friend saying, hey, just so you know, I pooped you out. Sorry.
Oh.
There was a sense that this was a bonding experience. We could share this really unique experience together, and it was a way for me to close the lid on this part of my life.
Nope.
Close the lid.
Close that lid, lock it up, throw it in the ocean with a friggin' cinder block tied to it. You freaks.
It keeps on going, but
Yeah.
that's the gist of it. Look,
I'm good.
it just looks like fajita meat.
Nope. I'm good. I mean, it's gonna look like.
Like, I don't know if you can.
I don't like the color.
Yeah.
There's not even that much meat in a foot, I feel.
I mean, so
It's a leg.
Took the whole leg?
It's the whole leg.
so like calf, I'd imagine.
Like,
Thought, like the
Wait, does
majority
he
of the
have
time they were
pictures of
talking
his
about
leg?
the foot.
there's like an X-ray.
I'm good. I'm good.
I ought to browse Reddit and see.
I would have.
Oh, so here you go. There's a shot of like, So it looks like they took about mid-shin.
Mid-calf? Jeez.
Wow.
Oh, and my nut hurts.
I would have made sure to give Austin the Achilles tendon.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate that.
Something to chew
I wonder
on all
if you
night.
like
Yep, just-
bite it, if it would still have a snap to it. Probably not, because
Growing
it's already cut out.
stronger with
Feel
your
like a
jokes.
Slim Jim or something.
That's the whole point.
I wonder if you were to grab the Achilles in it and pull on it, if the foot would still wiggle.
You're funny. Play it like a banjo. Or
Oh, shut up. Golly. Okay. All right.
I got one more cringe if we're still in cringe. This one's a lot shorter.
All right. Actually, I'm going to do mine.
Go.
This one, actually, no, this is in the next segment. Dang it. Okay, hurry.
Okay, really fast.
Gross.
How Ines Ramirez successfully operated on herself and pulled out a baby boy by cutting open her own abdomen.
That picture is horrendous.
Yeah, it's a creepy picture for sure.
She gave herself a C-section.
Yes.
Gross.
Tony is no longer allowed to have this section of the podcast anymore.
Yeah, I said odd things. I didn't say grotesque things.
Yeah.
This is odd. in March
I
2000,
said odd,
I
right?
did say off.
I did say odd.
and
Not
I said I
macabre.
had cringe, and you said, "Oh, it's kind of the same thing."
I don't think he knows what cringe is.
I mean, you're cringing, right?
All right. In modern day terms, it just means something that's like off-putting, not
I mean, I was off-putted.
he was off-footed. Oh.
And luckily, I was the one reading, because I'm over here going, well, I'm curious.
Whoa. No.
You would eat?
He
No.
Oh
would.
my God.
He would.
I'm done.
If it was ethical. Like if one of you had an amputated
not.
limb.
Ah, shit.
In March 2000, Ines Ramirez Perez, a Mexican woman from Oaxaca,
Someplace.
I don't know, performed a successful cesarean section on herself. After 12 hours of labor pain, she drank hard liquor and used a kitchen knife to cut a 17-centimeter
Oh
vertical
my
incision
gosh.
near her navel. Despite having no medical training, she delivered her baby, severed the umbilical cord, and bandaged herself. Hours later, a health assistant found her and stitched the wound. Ramirez was transported to a clinic and then a hospital for further surgery. She fully recovered, later stating she couldn't bear the pain and was determined to save her baby.
Okay. Good on her.
Dang.
Good
lady.
job.
Well done.
You beastly woman.
Yeah.
Golly. I couldn't even give myself a shot. I've got a inch-long needle. I can't even give myself a shot in the leg, let alone cut a... Oh, man.
That's all of mine.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's going to be a new segment called Not Safe for Work / Life. We'll teach Tony the meaning of cringe. Don't worry.
Yep.
Coming from the guy who watches some of the most horrible torture scenes in movies and listens to the most horrible podcasts.
You're not wrong.
Did you enjoy it?
The eating of human. No, that was horrible.
Okay.
The other one wasn't as bad.
All right. Okay.
Dick of the week.
Dick of the Week. Anyway, we got a new segment called Dick of the Week. It's where someone's a dick that happens to be within this week.
Nailed it.
I'm doing my best.
Self-explanatory.
Kamala. I'm doing my best.
You killing it.
Am I doing good? I hope. Anyway, so this could be like funny stories of just someone being stupid. That's kind of where I kind of went. So this one, I've wanted to read it for weeks now and found this perfect segment. This too is kind of a long story, but I remember reading it and laughing really hard. So 1 second here. This one's called The Funnest Archery Story I've Ever Read. It says, don't know who wrote this, but he has a way with words that makes me makes one visualizing being right there beside him. Good read. Life as a child growing up in Oklahoma. Around the age of 10, my dad got me one of those little badass compound bow beginner kits. Of course, the first month I went around our land sticking arrows in anything that could get stuck by an arrow. Did you know that a 1955 40-horse Farmall tractor tire will take 6 rounds before it goes down? Tough sumbitch. That got boring. So being the 10-year-old Dukes of Hazzard fan that I was, I quickly advanced to taking steps of a cut-up T-shirt doused in chainsaw gas tied around the end and was sending flaming arrows all over the place.
This kid's 10?
In Oklahoma. One summer afternoon, I was shooting flaming arrows into a large, rotten oak stump in our backyard. I looked over at the carport and see a shiny, brand new can of starting fluid, also known as ether. The light bulb went off in my head. I grabbed the can and set it up on the stump. I thought that it would probably just spray out in a disappointing manner. Let's face it, to a 10-year-old mouth breather like myself, ether doesn't really sound flammable. So I went back to the house and I got a 1-pound can of Pyrodex, which is black powder for muzzleloader rifles.
Oh my god.
At this point, I set the can of ether on the stump and opened up the can of black powder. My intentions were to sprinkle a little bit around the ether, but it all kind of sort of dumped out. No biggie, a 1-pound Pyrodex and 16 ounce of ether. Man, I cannot talk tonight. Should make just like a loud pop, kind of like a firecracker, you know? You know what? Screw that. I'm going back into the house for one other can. Yes, I got a second can of Pyrodex, and I dumped it too. Now we cooking. I stepped back about 15 feet, and I lit the 2-stroke arrow. I drew the nock to my cheek, and I took aim. As I released, I heard a clunk as the arrow launched from my bow. In slow motion time frame, I turned to see my dad getting out of the truck. Oh, shoot! He just got home from work. So help me God, it took 10 minutes for that arrow to go from my bow to the can. My dad was walking toward me in slow motion with a what the fuck look in his eyes. I turned back toward my target just in time to see the arrow pierce the starting fluid can right at the bottom, right through the main pile of Pyrodex and into the can. Oh, shit. When the shockwave hit me, it knocked me off my feet. I don't know if it was the actual compression wave that threw me back or just the reflex jerk back from the 235 freaking decibels of sound. I caught a half a millisecond glimpse of violence during the initial explosion, and I will tell you that there was dust, grass, and bugs all hovering 1 foot above the ground as far as I could see. It was a little low to the ground. Sorry, it was like a little low to the ground layer of dust fog full of grasshoppers, spiders, and worm or two. The daylight turned purple. Let me repeat this. The freaking daylight turned purple. There was a big sweet gum tree out by the gate, out going to the pasture. Notice I said was. That some bitch got up and ran off. So here I am on the ground blown. Completely out of my shoes with my Thundercats t-shirt shredded. My dad is on the other side of the carport having what I can only assume is a Vietnam flashback. Echo Bravo Charlie, you're bringing him too close. Cease fire, damn it. Cease fire. His hat was blown off and 30 feet behind him in the driveway. All windows on the north side of the house are blown out, and there is a slow rolling mushroom cloud about 2,000 feet over our backyard.
Oh my God.
There is a Honda 185. Wait. There is a Honda 185 wheeler parked on the other side of the on the other side of the yard with the fenders drooped down and are now touching the tires. I wish I knew what to say to my dad at this moment. I don't know. I don't know if I said anything. I couldn't hear inside my own head. I don't think he heard me either. Not that it would really matter. I don't remember much from this point on. I said something, felt sharp pain, and then woke up later. I felt the sharp pain, blacked out, woke up later. Repeated this process for an hour or so. You get the idea. I remember at one point, my mom had to give me CPR and dad screaming, "Bring him back to life so I can kill him again." Thanks, Mom. One thing's for sure. I never had to mow around that stump again. Mom had been bitching about that for years, and Dad never did anything about it. I stepped up to the plate and handled business like a man. Dad sold his muzzle loader a week later or so. I still have some sort of bone growth abnormality, either from the blast or the beating or both. I guess what I'm trying to say is get your kids into archery. It's a good discipline and will teach them skills they can use later on in life.
Holy crap.
Oh my gosh.
That was a well-painted story. With words. That was beautiful.
Cracked me up, man.
That was
when I first
good.
read it. I was dying. Just imagining the sky turning purple. Just
Sky turned purple.
anyway.
That's great.
We got any more for the dick of the week?
Bring us home, Zach. What you
Got
got?
one.
Okay.
All right. So this lady, she posted flyers around the neighborhood of her missing cat.
Oh, okay.
She gets a text from a guy that says, "Hey, this is," blacked it out and said, "I found your cat, I believe. Call me when you can." So she's like, "OMG, yes, I'll give you a reward if you return my sweet little angel." She proceeds to call him. And she gets cat noises on the other end of the line.
No.
What?
Oh, no.
Hangs up the phone and texts him back and says, "You're an asshole. Do you know the type of pain I've gone through the past 3 days? I've been worrying sick for my cat, and you think it's okay to call and do that? Grow the F up and don't contact me." The following texts proceed after that. "Meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, I want to come home."
Oh my gosh.
My God.
He catnapped him?
No,
He's just pretending to
pretending
be the
to
cat.
have the cat and be the cat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
See, I took that as he had the cat, called her, had the cat meow into it, then was going to send her a ransom note.
No, that would be
That's
better.
where I thought it was going too.
No, he just
but-
made her believe that he had the cat, and then when she called or whatever, he just answered the phone and started meowing himself.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that is hilarious.
Jacked up. That's funny.
Jeez.
That is,
I love
that is
it.
dickish.
Yep.
That's great.
Any more for the dick of the week? All right. I will end it with one last segment. Jokes.
Jokes!
Do you guys have any jokes? Because I got one to end it on.
Yeah, my life.
And on that note,
Give it to us, baby. Uh-huh.
let's see here. You know that makeup company, Avon, right?
Avon calling.
Why did the Avon lady walk funny?
Why?
Her lipstick.
Oh, Judas.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
And we'll call it on that. Hashtag lipstick down in the comments. Let us know
my
you made it
God.
all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed this vomit. Let us know what you think about the format, or if there are other segments that we should sprinkle throughout our vomit.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work
It
in
is.
progress.
Give us some feedback.
This was a guinea pig trial.
Yep.
Hey, I think it did great. And
was
I
great.
think with your help down in the comments, more segments, I think we can have this be fantastic.
Probably
So-
sprinkle a funny video in here once or
Yeah,
twice.
dude.
Yeah, that was one segment we did
yeah,
forget, but
Yeah, the internet, love from the internet or something like that. We'll have fun. Hey, also, give us fun, unique names for our segments. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you here next week. Later.
love you guys.
Oh, arrivederci.
Ciao.
Thanks for being part of this crowd.